Time now for the morning rush. A group of students are doing their part to improve mental health, wellness in schools. Students at the New Mexico Academy for the Media Arts say that they are dealing with anxiety and stress. Now they're putting together a show showcasing the process of lawmakers trying to pass House Bill 112, which would then bring a mental wellness room into schools across the state.
Late last night, the State House of Representatives passed the New Mexico Voting Rights Act. It would expand access to mail-in voting, create provisions to help Native communities with better access, and designate Election Day as a school holiday. The bill now moves to the state Senate.
A judge decided to hold an Albuquerque dad accused of abusing his infant son behind bars until trial. Investigators say the medical personnel later found symptoms indicating that the child was likely shaken. The boy's father, Marin Gilmore, admitted to shaking him. Judge Courtney Weeks granted a motion for the state to have the pretrial hearing yesterday, and the judge also requested more information about the CYFD case. Erica.
And here's a look at our school day forecast. Temperatures this morning aren't terribly cold, but make sure to wear your layers today. It's going to be extremely windy out there as we go into the afternoon. We're going to stay cool this afternoon, a high of 48, not as warm as yesterday, with a chance for some spotty rain showers as well.
Bernalillo County Commissioners approved a plan to crack down on speeders by deploying mobile speed cameras. The plan looks to bring speed cameras in mobile vans that can be moved around to different speeding hotspots. The county is also looking to operate the vans on busy state roads like Paseo, Coors, and Rio Bravo.
Hearings are ongoing to see if the state's largest provider of natural gas can build storage for the fuel in Albuquerque. The company is looking to build a facility on the outskirts of Rio Rancho, just north of Double Eagle 2 Airport, and that's near a transmission pipeline. New Mexico Gas hopes that the PRC will have an answer by the fall to proceed or not.
The state auditor is now investigating the natural gas prices in Deming to find out if the city is fraudulently overbilling its residents. In order to curb prices after their dramatic increase, the city locked in a fixed rate of 61 cents per unit. But a whistleblower back in November claimed that the city was overbilling residents for natural gas. Erica.
And here's a look at our threat index. It is high today, as we'll be seeing those high winds that could cause many issues across the state and some heavy mountain snow. So expect the mountain roads to become difficult driving.
As Russia's war on Ukraine approaches the one-year mark, President Biden is in Poland today meeting with NATO allies. Yesterday, the president delivered a speech in Warsaw declaring support of Kyiv and NATO. Just hours earlier, Russian President Vladimir Putin suspended Moscow's last remaining nuclear arms reduction treaty with the U.S., known as the New START Treaty.
The Supreme Court has heard arguments in a case that could fundamentally change how the internet operates. Social media sites like TikTok and Facebook are currently protected under a 1996 federal law that shields from the liability of content hosted by users on their website. But this case could shift where liability is held.
Former South Carolina attorney and accused murderer Alex Murdaugh's oldest son took the stand in court yesterday. It was the first time that Buster Murdaugh has spoken publicly about the murders of his mother, Maggie, and brother Paul. Prosecutors claim that Alex killed his wife and youngest son in 2021 in the attempt to cover up alleged financial crimes. The defense plans to rest their case on Friday. Jury deliberations could begin next week. Erica.
All right, and a check on traffic. The maps are looking clear. No major accidents or slowdowns. Trackers heading south on I-25 near the Big I, and everything is looking clear there as well.
A pizza place in Columbus, Ohio is now cooking up some controversy over its latest Help Wanted sign. Posted in huge print outside of Santorino's pizzeria is a sign reading, quote, "Now hiring non-stupid people." According to the pizzeria, the signs brought in more customers over the past 2 months, but has made them the victim of a few prank orders.
Time now for the 5 facts.
And number 5, an Albuquerque Academy student will soon be headed to Boston to meet the leaders in today's medical field. Sophomore Mario Leyva Jr. was selected to take part in the Congress of Future Medical Leaders in June. High school students at the conference will learn from winners of the Nobel Prize, scientists, experts in medicine, and more. 14 of these events have been held with more than 36,000 attendees taking part.
And number 4, students at the New Mexico Academy for the Media Arts are making a documentary inspired by House Bill 122. Now, if passed, that bill would then bring wellness rooms into schools in New Mexico, setting aside $5 million for a 6-year pilot project that would be to test the program. While the new documentary, produced entirely by students, will explain why they believe that they need the resource, pointing to anxiety and stress caused by school violence and COVID.
At number 3, the city has a new master plan in place to redevelop and preserve the rail yards. The 167-page plan lays out rules like maximum heights for new buildings and mandating shops along 2nd Street to face the Barelas neighborhood. It also pushes for a new train stop at the rail yards and the rebuilding of the historic turntable and smokestack. Planners want to keep the yard accessible to the adjacent neighborhoods. City Council still needs to sign off on the plan.
At number 2, the state auditor is now investigating the natural gas prices in Deming to find out if the city is now overbilling its residents. In order to curb prices after their dramatic increase, the city locked in a fixed rate of 61 cents per unit. But a whistleblower back in November claimed that the city was overbilling residents for natural gas, leading to an internal audit. Now, after a lack of results, State Auditor Joseph Maesta says that he is getting involved. He has now opened a special audit on February 15th. If his office finds that evidence of fraud, the case could then be referred to the Attorney General, law enforcement, or the area's DA.
And at number 1, it is going to be a very windy day out there, and the winds will be picking up until the afternoon as we see the cold front move in. Those gusts will be up to 60 to 65 throughout the Middle Rio Grande Valley, including the metro area, and they'll start to taper back off as we go into the evening with gusts of at least 40 miles per hour through much of the day.